Shalom, giving honor and praise to the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular teaching, brothers and sisters, is addressing the fact that the tribe of Dan is not destroyed. Next slide. The tribe of Dan is not destroyed. There is a teaching that is going around saying that the tribe of Dan, a tribe in Israel, is destroyed. The idea of that comes from the fact that the 144,000 mentioned in Revelation 7 does not have the tribe of Dan. To understand Israelite nation and history, one must have a foundation in the Old Testament. One cannot look at the Old Testament through the eyes of the New Testament. This will be explained as we continue in this presentation. Judges chapter 18, verse 30. And the children of Dan set up for themselves the graven image. And Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the day of the captivity of the land. Now, many people, believe it or not, go here to try to say that because of this particular act of the Danites, that they was obliterated out of existence, that the tribe of Dan was just totally destroyed, never to be in existence anymore because of this particular part right here. But this is not what this is saying, brothers and sisters. All right? This is just something we want to point out for reason and purposes. There's two other things to point out. When it says Manasseh here in the English there, the Hebrew has the mem, noon, sheen, hey. But if you know and following along in the Hebrew, brothers and sisters, you begin to see that that is a small noon that the actual scribe, later on scribes, that is, inserted within there. Because if you take that noon out, you get the word Moshe, which is translated as what? Moses, or transliterated as Moses. But these guys here were deemed to be wicked in Judges. So the scribes didn't want the name of Moses associated with wicked. So that's why you see a noon there. But those who understand what's going on, Gershom was one of the sons of Moshe. All right. So this is just something we want to point out for reason and purposes. Also, if you study about the scattering of the tribes of Israel, there is a teaching about the thing called the Sembabyon River and the sons of Moses being in existence. All right. So that's something one may want to research in their own particular time. All right. Let's go on, brothers and sisters, into the next particular slide. Manasseh in the matter with Judah. Now, Manasseh that you see here is speaking about King Manasseh of the tribe of Judah. And Manasseh made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err, so that they did more evil than the nations whom the Most High destroyed before the children of Israel. And the Lord spoke to Manasseh and to his people, but they gave no heed. So what's being stated right here, the point in going into the book of Chronicles here, is just to show that in Second Chronicles chapter 33, brothers and sisters, that Manasseh with the tribe of Judah did worse than the nations that was before the children of Israel being in the land. So why then would not the tribe of Judah be obliterated out of existence? If we're saying that the tribe of Dan, according to some that is obliterated out of existence because of wicked deeds. Would not also the tribe of Judah be? So this is just something we want to point out. Judges chapter 18 verse 30 is not saying that the tribe of Dan is not in existence. Amos 8 in the tribe of Dan. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, as thy God, O Dan, liveth, and as the way of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. Many go to Amos 8:14 and read that portion and deduce that Dan the tribe will fall and never rise again. The portion, however, is saying those who swear by the sin of Samaria, 1, and say, as thy God, O Dan, lives, 2, and as the way of Beersheba lives, 3, they shall fall and never rise up again. Let us see Samaria, Dan, and Beersheba. Joshua, Beersheba, in the matter of Ahab. Joshua chapter 19, verse 2, concerning Simeon, one of the tribes of Israel. And they had for their inheritance Beersheba with Sheba and Moladah. Beersheba is a land in the tribe of Simeon. 1 Kings chapter 16, 24. And he bought the hill Samaria of Shemer for 2 talents of silver. And he built on the hill and called the name of the city which he built after the name Shemir, the owner of the hill Samaria. We are able to see that Beersheba and Samaria were both lands in the land of Israel. One was in Simeon and the other was in the land of Ephraim. Let us show the Dan matter. Jacob and Dan and the Danites in the north. Genesis 49. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Let Dan be an adder in a way that bites the horse's heels, so the rider falleth backward. That means that you can't get over on Dan. When you think you're just taking advantage, disrespecting, so forth and so on, trying to abuse, the improper way of use is abuse, and so forth and so on. It says that Dan bites the horse's heels so that the rider falleth backward. So while the rider is riding upon the horse, trying to just step on and misuse and abuse Danites, what's being stated is that Dan is that serpent that bites the horse's heels so that the rider falleth backward. Can't try to ride on your brothers and sisters and think that everything is going to be smooth. Dan, we must remember, is spoken of as a land too. Joshua chapter 19, verse 47. And the border of the children of Dan was too straight for them. So the children of Dan went up and fought against Leshem and took it, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and possessed it, and dwelt therein, and called Leshem Dan, after the name of Dan their father. So this is just something, brothers and sisters, we want to point out for edification purposes. That Dan was a land. Beersheba was a land. Samaria was a land. So when we see in Amos 8:14, they that swear by the sin of Samaria, 1, and say, as thy God, O Dan, lives, 2, and as the way of Beersheba lives. Those are three different things. Those are the ones that will fall and never rise up again. That's not saying that the tribe of Dan will fall and never rise up again. That's why understanding is made. That's why, no offense intended, I said earlier, brothers and sisters, that you can't look at the Old Testament through the eyes of the New Testament. Next slide. Ezekiel left the record more complete. Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Chebar, that the heavens were opened and I saw visions of God. In the 5th day of the month, which is the 5th year of King Jehoiachin's captivity. Now, when we just read there on the left-hand side, it's coming, brothers and sisters, from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. In the timing of King Jehoiachin's captivity. That is when the Babylonians were ruling in their world after the Assyrians fell as an empire. Ezekiel was after the aspect of Assyria's rise and fall. Ezekiel chapter 48 says this. Now these are the names of the tribes from the north end, beside the way of Hethlon, to the entrance of Hamath, Hazir Enan, at the border of Damascus, northward, beside Hamath, and they shall have their sides east and west, Dan one portion. So Ezekiel chapter 48 speaks about Dan having a portion in the land of Israel. All right? So this is something, brothers and sisters, we want to point out for edification purposes. Next slide. Ezekiel 48 in the 12 tribes of Israel. The tribes of Israel, according to how it will be in the future, a day that has not come to pass yet. Now this is according to land distribution in the future. Dan, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Reuben, Judah, Benjamin, Simeon, Issachar, Zebulun, and Gad. Ezekiel's vision in the 12 tribe charts. Dan, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Reuben, Judah, skipping the white for a reason, Benjamin, Simeon, Issachar, Zebulun, and Gad. We skipped the white part because that's where it says for the Levites. The Levites were in the center of where the Israelites was at. All right, so this is just something we want to point out for edification purposes. All right, when you look at the map there on the left-hand side, you see where it says Mediterranean Sea? That is referred to in many cases in the scriptures as the Great Sea. All right, or the the Western Sea. Western Sea, Great Sea, in biblical terms, in most cases, brothers and sisters, is talking about the Mediterranean Sea. So the biblical land of Israel, brothers and sisters, was not in the Western Hemisphere. The geography that's shown in the book of Numbers shows that. Numbers 34 to be exact. Okay? The 12 tribes of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Now, whether or not the tribal chart, as you see here, is correct about who they say these tribes are today, is not the focus of this presentation. All right? The focus in this is to show that the 12 tribe chart does not have the tribe of the Danites. Okay? Let's go on to the next slide. Deuteronomy in the matter of Levi. At that time, the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. The Lord is his inheritance, according as the Lord thy God promised him. This is coming, brothers and sisters, from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10. So in ancient Israel, the tribe of the Levites did not have a designated land to themselves, like the tribe of Gad, like the tribe of Reuben did. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Joshua and the breakdown of Levi. And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel, distributed for inheritance to them. By lot was their inheritance, as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses, for the 9 tribes and for the half tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of 2 tribes and a half tribe on the other side Jordan. But unto the Levites he gave none inheritance among them. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with all their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance. As the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land. Brothers and sisters, what we're going over here is coming from the book of Joshua, chapter 14. It distinctly says what? That the children of Joseph were 2 tribes. That is talking about, brothers and sisters, in the aspect of land distribution in ancient days. Let's go on to the next slide. Jeremiah and Malachi and Isaiah according to the Most High God. Jeremiah chapter 31 says this. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If these ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Now in Jeremiah chapter 31, as we read, you read in 2 different verses about the seed of Israel. Therefore, we can never have a concept of a spiritual Israel. The seed of Israel is a physical thing. All right? The moon is a physical thing. The stars are physical things. The sun is a physical thing. The seed of Israel is a physical thing. So as long as the Most High has control over that, the seed of Israel will not be cast off. So therefore, we don't call upon harp when storms come in. Because as it says in the scriptures, stormy winds fulfilling his word in the book of Psalms. All right, let's go on to the right-hand side. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's in Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. O Israel, thou art saved by the Lord with an everlasting salvation. You shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. Brothers and sisters, this is something we just want to point out for edification purposes. All right? This is from the book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. Look up all those scriptures. Jeremiah 31, Malachi chapter 3, and Isaiah chapter 45. Brothers and sisters, when you look at this particular aspect in this particular regard, there's no way one can say and teach that the tribe of Dan is destroyed. Such holds no weight. With that, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channels that are listed in the description of this video. Shalom.